In this tutorial, I will be making use of the following measurements. In case you missed the first part of this video, which is how to take measurements for danshiki, the measurements required in making danshiki, and how to take those measurements. The link to the video will be available in the description box. So in this tutorial, I'll be making use of the following measurements, which are the armhole depth measurement is needed in making danshiki, the back measurement, the sleeve length, the danshiki length, the gore length, the gore width, the extension length, and the extension width. So the armhole depth measurement I'm using is 9.5. Armhole depth is half of armhole circumference measurement. If you don't understand, I have a video on how to take measurements accurately on a male figure. Measurement for male shirts and measurement for trousers. So I explain all this extensively in the video. I will link the video up in the description box as well. All measurements taken here are taken in inches. So the armhole depth is 9.5 inches plus 2 inches. This 2 inches is so total is 11.5 inches. The back measurement I'm using is 19. 19 divided by 2 gives me 9.5, and I have 0.5 inches as seam allowance, which is 10 inches. Because danshiki is drafted using freehand method, so I'm not using pattern drafting for this style. So this style does not require pattern drafting, so that is why I'm adding my seam allowance together with my measurement. So the next measurement is the sleeve length measurement. The sleeve length measurement I'm using is 20 inches, and because this measurement is taken together with the back, I will have to subtract the back measurement from this 20. So that is why I have 20 minus 9.5. It is minus, not divided. Don't mind the dot I have up and down. So 20 minus 9.5. This 9.5 is half of the back measurement I have at the upper part here. So this gives me 10.5 inches. So which means the sleeve length I'm using is 10.5. Then to the danshiki length, the danshiki length I'm using is 32 inches. And because I have to hem the lower part of the danshiki, I will add my hem allowance of 2 inches to that, which makes it 34 inches. So the next measurement is the gore length measurement. After sewing the danshiki, I need gore on both sides to make it really puffy. So I need the gore length measurement and the gore width measurement. To get the gore length is waist length minus danshiki length. This WL means waist level, so that is the waist length, minus DL. This DL means danshiki length. So I already have the waist level measurement and I have the danshiki length measurement. So the danshiki length measurement is 34 inches in total, and the waist length is 19 inches. So I will subtract the waist length from the danshiki length. So that is 34 minus 19, and I have 15. So which means my gore length is 15. And for the width of the gore, that is how wide I want the gore to be. So the gore width is 2 inches, and because I need 0.5 inches on both sides to attach the gore to the danshiki, so that makes it 3 inches. So another measurement needed is the extension length. So the length of the extension I will be attached to the danshiki is AD minus DL. This AD means the armhole depth measurement. The armhole depth measurement I'm using is 9.5 inches plus 2. That makes it 11.5. So the total measurement for my armhole depth is 11.5 inches. So this AD is armhole depth, which I have 11.54, and the danshiki length is 34. So I have 34 now minus 11.5, which is the armhole depth. Then I have 2.5 inches. So which means the extension length I'm using is 22.5 inches. And for the extension width I'll be using is 2 inches plus 1 inch. This 1 inch is for 0.5 inches on both sides of the extension. So that makes it 3 inches. So these are the values I will be using in cutting out my danshiki. Danshiki can be cut out in 2 ways. The first way is cutting your danshiki as a single piece, and the second way is cutting it in 3 pieces. 3 pieces means you will have the center piece and you have 2 pieces for the sleeves. Now, what determines how to cut your danshiki also has to do with the length of your fabric, the amount of fabric that you have. The measurement for the sleeve and the back is taken together on a stretch. You know, fabric has different lengths. Like the fabric I'm using here is atiku. You can be making use of lace fabric or African print. So the length of your fabric also determines the method you use in cutting out your danshiki, whether you cut it out as a single piece or you have it in 3 pieces. And again, it also depends on the wearer. If the wearer or your client want it in 3 pieces, you can cut it out in 3 pieces, or he or she want it out as a single piece. So when cutting out your danshiki, the basic thing you need to understand is folding. How do you fold for danshiki? You don't have much work to do. The basic thing you need to understand is how to fold your danshiki. That is the fundamental knowledge you need in cutting danshiki, which I will be explaining extensively in this tutorial. So this is my fabric. The measurement I have from this edge to this edge is the length of my fabric. I don't have control over the length that come with this side of the fabric, but I have control over the yards of fabric I have with me, which I purchased. So that is that. Another thing you need to know is when you are cutting danshiki, the shoulder seam is on fold. You don't have it as pieces, which means the back piece and the front piece are both cut together. So when I want to fold my fabric, I will fold it like so. So this folded part is the shoulder line. No joining, no cutting. So you can see I'm still working around the standard length of my fabric. So what determines how I will cut this has to do with what I have from here to here. So after folding like so, then I will measure out the length of my danshiki. The total length with the M allowance is 34 inches. So I will make sure I have up to 34 inches. So I have more than 34 inches folded here for the length of my danshiki. So after this fold, this is the first fold, then I will have to make the second fold. The first fold is vertical, while the second fold is horizontal. Okay, so now you can see I have my fold in 4. So I have 4 pieces here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2 for the front and 2 for the back. After folding the second time, then I will take the measurement and confirm if it is enough for my sleeve length measurement. So what I have here is 20.75. And back to my measurement, my sleeve length, so that is the measurement taken together with the back, is 20 inches. So if I want to have my danshiki as a single piece, the length of this fabric is enough for me. But let's assume what I have for my sleeve length is 25. So the length of this fabric is not enough to cut it out as a single piece because I don't have up to 25. If you find yourself in such condition or situation, all you need to do is cut your danshiki in 3 pieces. You cut the center piece first and you cut the 2 sleeves separate, which I'll be demonstrating now. I'm cutting out 3 pieces purposely for the sake of this tutorial because that is the most technical out of the 2 methods. The first method is very easy. Let's assume I'm cutting this out as a single piece. I don't have any work to do. I will just go to the length of the danshiki, which is this point, and I will cut it out. then I'm done with cutting of the danshiki. But for the 3 pieces, it is more technical than the first techniques. So that is why I'm showing you the second techniques. My sleeve length is 20 inches. Again, if you are lost with how I have 20 inches for my sleeve length, please watch the first part of this video, which is how to take measurements for danshiki. Another thing you need to have in mind or put in mind is this: when you are cutting your danshiki can be with embroidery or without embroidery. So this is very important. You have to decide this before you cut. Am I having embroidery on my danshiki, or I'm not having embroidery on my danshiki? If you will be having embroidery on your danshiki, you don't need to open up the neck. The opening of the neck will be done where you do the embroidery. But if your danshiki is without embroidery, you will have to take the measurement of the neck. But in this tutorial, my danshiki will be with embroidery, so I will not be opening the neck. So now the danshiki I'm cutting is the 3 pieces danshiki, the center piece, and 2 pieces for the sleeve. Okay, another thing you need to put in mind is the type of fabric you are using. This is also important. The type of fabric you are using also control how you cut your danshiki. But some of these fabrics fall in the same category, like article, guinea, linen. Some of them fall in the same category. So the category I'm talking about is the edge of the fabric. You can see the edge of the fabric that is okay. I'm not tampering with this area. So because I have my fabric in this way, so I will not add allowance to this area to finish the sleeve. That is number 1. And if you are making use of lace fabric, you will have something we call etiaje, like design you have at the edge of your lace. So with that, you don't need to add extra inches to hem that side. So you don't need to trim off the lace. It's designed to make the danshiki look more beautiful, so you don't need to cut it off. But if you are making use of some fabrics whereby you have names printed at the edge, you have to cut out the names, because it is not ideally for your client to put on and be going around with brand name on his or her danshiki. So you have to trim it off, then add 2 inches or 1.5 inches to finish the edge. If the type of fabric you are using require you use the edge of the fabric, you must cut out the sleeve first. You cut out the sleeve first so that you will have opportunity of using the edge of the fabric. So I'll be cutting out the sleeve first before cutting out the center piece. So I'm flipping my fabric over so that this can come to my direction. So now back to our calculation. Because I'm cutting this separately, I have to separate this measurement. The sleeve length measurement is 20. This is the combination of the back and the length of the sleeve. So 10.5 inches is what I'll be measuring out for the sleeve of my danshiki. So as you can see, I have the 2 together already, the front and the back. So from this edge, I will measure 10.5 inches. So after this 10.5, I will add 0.5 inches. This 0.5 inches is to join this side to the center piece, to join the sleeve together with the center piece. So that is why I'm adding 0.5 inches. This is essential for any type of fabric you are using, either lace, Ankara, article, guinea, and so on and so forth. You have to add your seam allowance. So I'll be connecting the dotted lines together and make it a straight line. just as I've explained earlier. So I have the sleeve width marked out already. Then I will mark out the length of the danshiki. And I'm ready to cut it out. You can see the cutting is very easy, but you have to understand how the folding works. If you understand how the folding works, you have the fundamental knowledge, you will know exactly what you are doing, not doing try by error. It doesn't take time to cut at all, very easy. So this is the sleeve of my danshiki, and I have two. This is for one side and this is for the second side. And I will place notches on the center. Now it's time to cut out the center piece of the danshiki. Don't forget, this was folded into 4 and this is a folded part. So this is the center of the danshiki. So this measurement is taken from the folded side. So what I have here is back to our measurement. So this is the back measurement. The back measurement is used in cutting out the center piece of danshiki. So the back is 19 divided by 2, 9.5, and I will need 0.5 inches to join this together with the sleeve. So that makes it 10 inches. So for the center piece, I'm measuring out 10 inches. Don't forget, taking of the measurement starts from the folded side, not from the opening side. So from this folded side, I'll measure 10 inches. So, and this time around, my measurement falls on the line. Okay. Then I will bring down this measurement down to the length of the danshiki, which is 34 inches. And I have the marked point at this area already. And I will take it on the other side, 34 inches. That's 4 inches. And the center piece is ready. You can see it's very easy and simple. It doesn't take time to cut at all. So the center piece is ready, and I will place a notch on the shoulder edge. Here. So I'm not opening the neck. So I don't have any measurement here. I'm not opening the neck because this will be with embroidery. So the next thing I'm cutting out is the gore and the extension, so which will be attached to the danshiki to make it really look nice and beautiful. Please, when you are cutting out your fabric, make sure you study the pattern you have on it. If you are making use of pattern fabric, we have plain fabric, we have fabrics with pattern, and we have directional and non-directional fabric. Like this fabric I'm using is a directional pattern, so I have to follow this pattern when I'm cutting all the pieces. So I must not cut one in vertical form and cut the other ones in horizontal form. So please take note of this, study your fabric, make sure you cut it accordingly. So following the shape and the pattern I have of my fabric, I'll be cutting out the gore. I have the measurement here already. So for the gore length is waist length minus danshiki length. The waist length I'm using is 19 inches and the danshiki length is 34. So I will subtract 19 inches from 34 inches, then I have 15 inches. So that means the length of the gore I'm cutting out is 15 inches and the width is 2 inches plus 1 inch for seam allowance. That is 3 inches. Firstly, I will measure out the length of the gore, which is 15 inches. So 15 inches. Coming to the upper part of the gore, I need just 0.5. I need just 0.5. And here 1.5. Then I'll connect the 2 points together. The lower part of the gore is 1.5 and the upper part of the gore is 0.5. So which means from the beginning of the gore is increasing gradually, and from lower part is decreasing upward. Which is not a straight line. So my gore is ready. I'll cut this out and I'll be making use of this as a pattern to cut out the remaining 3 pieces. I'll be needing 4 pieces of gore, 2 pieces for the front and 2 pieces for the back. So that is the first piece. So I have 2 pieces and I'll be cutting out the remaining 2 pieces. Now I've cut out the 4 pieces for my gore and now I'll be cutting out the extension. The extension length is equal to AD minus DL. AD means armhole depth, The armhole depth measurement I'm using is 9.5 inches, and I added 2 inches as his, so which makes it 11.5 inches. So AD is 11.5 and the Danshiki length is 34. So 34 minus 11.5, which is AD, which is the armhole depth, I have 22.5 inches. So which means for the length of my extension is 22.5 inches, and for the extension width is 2 inches plus 1 inch for seam allowance equals to 3 inches. So I'll be cutting out 22.5 by 3 inches, width 3 inches, length 22.5. .5. So this is the length of 22.5. From the beginning to the end of the extension, that is from the upper part to the lower part, I have the same 1.5 inches. This is different from the way I cut out the Gore. Same 1.5. So which means the measurements are equal from the beginning to the end. So I'll be needing 2 pieces for the extension. So I will use this as a pattern to cut out the second piece. These are the pieces I cut out to make my Danshiki. I have 3 pieces. This is the center piece. This is the side piece. I have 2 pieces as the sleeve. So making 3 pieces, and I cut out 4 pieces for Gore and 2 pieces for Danshiki extension. So guys, meet me in the next video where I will be showing you how to join these pieces together to make a beautiful Danshiki with embroidery. Till then, always remember, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs.